VCU's big guards at the Siegel Center seem to give Richmond's smaller guards some issues. How does that change tomorrow here?
Well, we'll see. Their length is really impressive and imposing, and then those guys can move too. Obviously good athletes. So I feel like some of those things are when you have opportunities for open shots, you probably need to make them because you just maybe a little bit less likely to be as open because of the length and their effort and how well they play defense. I think that we need to make sure that when we have opportunities to drive the ball and, anywhere where our quickness can show up, change of direction, change of speed, hopefully those can show up. And sometimes, you have advantages when you're long and tall, but you have advantages when you're a little bit smaller and quicker. So hope we'll just try to do whatever we can to make those advantages show up.
What was the attraction of Jordan King when you first saw him on tape or when you scouted last spring?
So it was actually I was recovering at home, and we were just getting tape on all the guys who had been in the portal, and I would say the spring in his legs was really something I liked. Obviously, his fearlessness, competitiveness, shot-making ability, all of those things. I saw him interviewed a couple of times, and just his personality and upbeat way, everything really. But I'd say what stood out the most was, it's hard for a right-handed guy to make jump shots dribbling to the right. You have to jump in the air and get your body turned, and he did that pretty effortlessly, and a big part of that is the spring in his legs. That was probably the thing that really I noticed early on.
Hey, we talked earlier this season about the NIT and the new rules that associated with qualification. Now that you're sort of in that ballpark, perhaps, I hope not for your sake, but perhaps in that ballpark, can you revisit that and what you really think about the guidelines for NIT qualification?
We haven't really thought about it. I know administratively that you need to send in certain forms by probably by February, and I'm sure we've done that. But it's not something we're thinking about or talking about, and nor are we talking about anything in the postseason. And that probably is one great thing about this being the VCU game is that the top four or the regular season title or whatever it is can all take a back seat to playing a rivalry game against a team that beat us the first time.
Sort of piggyback on that. Do you feel like you are playing your best basketball right now coming into VCU, and what's further ahead the A10 tournament?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've been telling Bob, most of the season that I felt like we hadn't hit our ceiling offensively, and our defensive numbers had been great. The feel of our defense had been really, really good. But I thought that in practice we were showing more offensively than we were in the games. I feel like we've had some games here where we've really scored and put pressure on the other team. Even Davidson, who guarded us well, getting good looks, even though it was a struggle because they're so good defensively, we're able to do that. And so I do feel like our offense has improved, and we can continue to improve and be not only efficient, but also be a type of team that has capable of, having great scoring outbursts during the course of the game.
But has the guys kind of talked about, scenarios? Hey, we're in that top four, we got that double bye, but we want, the regular season championship. We want that overall number one seed in the tournament.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's something that we've touched on. Obviously, it's right there. And again, these guys know so much more about this stuff than I would because of social media and their phones, or be exposed to so much more of the noise of it. But yeah, so that's something that's on our mind. And again, I think playing VCU, that gives us a chance to just put all that on the back burner, focus on not only senior night, VCU game, our rival. I think that in a way is good for our focus.
Hey, speaking of senior night, obviously you've got guys who are out of eligibility, and then you've got Jai, who's a senior, but has eligibility remaining. Has there been anything determined on his front in terms of Richmond next year?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, John, I've really, as this stuff has been new, even with Jacob and Grant and Nathan Kao and Nick, I never spoke one word about it during the season. And that was when the legislation was introduced about the COVID year. And that's just been our stance. It's just something that, you can't on one hand say how focused you are on each practice and game, and on the other hand having conversations about all of those things. So I want Jai to, play great tomorrow, enjoy his senior day. He is a senior. All of our seniors have walked, Andre Gustafson, Matt Grace, Jacob Gilliard, Grant Golden. So they've all, or not walked, but been presented or honored before the game. And so that's just kind of, I think that's the way it is now around college basketball, and I don't think it's an indication one way or the other.
Any thought on what the feel of this senior night will be? You've got guys 1 year, 2 years, they've been impactful, and of course, you weren't here last year.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's interesting. I would say that, did we do senior night at the Mason game? Do you remember? I'm not sure. But that is an interesting point. I think that it'll be a great for them because it'll be a crowd that's here early, a packed house, and I'm sure an excited one. It is. It's another thing that's so different about college basketball. But I would say that even if a guy's been here 1 year, Tyler and Jordan King, the amount of time you spend together, all the road trips, all the meetings, there is a full relationship there. Not quite as what it would be for a 4-year or 5-year guy, but there is a full relationship, and you spend an incredible amount of time together.
Last one from me. The guys talked a couple of them about the first VCU game coming in on an 11-game winning streak. They almost forgot how to lose and that feeling. This time, while you're on a winning streak, there have been a couple of bumps in the road there. You don't want them, but is there anything psychologically to that, kind of what they referred to?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that, when you the Davidson game there, for example, they have a ball bounces around the rim and goes out to send the game to overtime. That goes in. That's a long ride home and a hard feeling. It doesn't. We win the game, and it's a great feeling. And it almost, when you win, it just feels like, oh, well, that we're supposed to win and we won. Where when you lose, it brings things to a halt. So, the best teams probably remember the feeling of a loss while not dwelling on it and do everything they can to avoid it.
Jordan, what has to happen differently this time around against VCU for Spiders to prevail?
We just got to come out a little bit tougher. I feel like, we didn't throw the first punch in the game, and VCU kind of just, felt comfortable the whole game, and we can't allow them to do that because they're actually a really good team in this league, and we just got to come out and fight.
They get big guards, which makes scoring difficult for any smallish guard.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it?
You just got to come with a game plan. Coach Mooney tries to set us up right so that we can get the right shots. They have 2 good guards, like you said, obviously taller than us, but, defensively I feel like we're going to match up well.
Hey, are you much better than you were as a walk-on at Siena, or were you completely under-recruited?
No, I'm much better. I wasn't that good in high school. I was fortunate to get the walk-on spot at Siena. Very grateful for that opportunity because, now I'm here and enjoying Richmond for my last year and, just happy to be here.
It was about this time last year, I presume, where you started considering the possibility of moving on. Why'd you move on, and kind of what sparked your interest in Richmond?
I just felt like I could play at a higher level, and and Coach Mooney really sparked my interest in this school. He said he had a lot of success with small guards, and I just thought I could be the next one to come in here and have some success. And then the community, all the people around here, just they were very welcoming to me and my mom when I came on the visit.
How much different is Richmond this time around as VCU?
I think we're just more prepared. We were on that 11-game winning streak kind of feeling ourselves, and we realized, the winning streak's not going to last forever. So, when that loss hit, we really just came together and said, if we're really trying to do something here, like win a regular season title, we really got to come together and just keep competing.
3 games left in the regular season, counting Saturday. The mindset the team has been talking about amongst themselves, and what has the coaching staff been saying about maybe playing their best basketball, getting ready for the tournament?
It's all about competing. That was probably the biggest word that we said after that loss at VCU the first time. Just keep competing. That at the end of the day, it's all about winning games. It's not about individual stats, and all the guys know that we're just sticking together and, trying to get wins.
A lot of you guys are 1- and 2-year guys here at Richmond. How much does this rivalry resonate with you guys in that shorter period of time?
I feel like the guys from last year have a little bit more understanding of it. I don't really, but I definitely understand the hype. When I got to VCU, when we played them and I seen the crowd, I was like, wow, this is actually a big-time rivalry. And it's actually exciting to play in front of, and I'm really excited what the turnout is going to be tomorrow.
I hear Saturday is also your birthday.
It is.
Oh, would you take your dream car, maybe dream beach house, or win over VCU?
Oh, win over VCU for sure. Win over VCU.
What if it was like your dream car, dream beach house, both?
I still got to take the win over VCU.
How have you made the Robinson a difficult place for you?
I feel like it's not really just me. I feel like it's just the team. I feel like we just play hard here. You know, the fans give us that energy. Even when we're on, like, you know, low spurts during the game, they'll still cheer us on. We kind of just feed off their energy. And, you know, I feel like we play a good amount of defense here in the Robins Center and overall. So I feel like, you know, that's what makes it harder to win the games here. Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, when I hit a couple of threes and I hear the crowd going, it definitely gets me going to, you know, maybe shoot another one. Maybe one that coach doesn't really like, but, you know, I'm still going to shoot it anyways. If it goes in, coach can't get mad.
So we know your offensive prowess. How much did you personally have to embrace the defensive mentality that's going on this year?
You know, that was a big change because me personally, I don't like playing defense. If I don't have to play defense, then I'm not going to. But, you know, the coaching staff got on me when I got here. You know, we did a lot of offense in the summer, but once fall hit, we started doing a lot more defense. And I realized how everyone was so locked in that I had to become locked in too.